Football fans, Gooners, welcome to another edition of the Positively Uncensored Arsenal podcast. I am your host, Shotta, and as usual, I have Ehab and Blackburn George. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hey,
Good to see you, fellas. We're as happy as a lark. I hope. I am, contrary to what many think on Twitter. Fresh after we gave Leicester a shellacking. Well, is it quite a shellacking? A beating. We certainly turned them over.
yeah.
We got into the action from early.
hmm
Gave them went up 2 goals. What was your immediate reaction?
Oh, I loved it, man. It's at least you watching proper football. You watching, creating chances, taking over the game, possession. They are not a bad team by no means. They are weaker than they once were, but it's just an amazing game to start the season at the Emirates. You think that if you wanted to have a game to start the season at the Emirates, that would be it. A lot of attacking, a lot of pushing forward, a lot of players in attack, a lot of players in the box, and 4 goals. I can't say anything about it. It was just so much fun.
George, I'm in my brand new 2022 Arsenal shirt that will tell you how happy I am. I took it out of the plastic because of the. I felt it was worth it. It was, wasn't it, George?
Oh, yeah. It's great. That's what we've been asking for. That's what we wanted. That's all we've ever wanted. To watch good football, attacking football. And that's exactly what it was. It's great. No complaints at all whatsoever. Leicester, it was a 50-50 game until we scored, really. But once we scored, that was probably the end of the game, despite the fact that we somehow managed to get them back into it. It's not like they fought the way back into it, is it? It's like we're rather gifted. Mind you, they gifted us one back, didn't they? It was like nobody wanted to win at that point. But it was great, and I don't even care. If we lost that game, playing like that, I don't mind. I just want to watch good football. And we'll beat most teams. We'll certainly beat most teams at home playing like that. And if we're brave enough to play like that away from home, which Palace would suggest we will be, then it's going to be a good season for us. It's going to be fun to watch. Top 4 is definitely on.
Well, you join me. You join me on the bandwagon. George, I'm not my argument.
I have the same opinion. I think anywhere between 3rd and 6th is where we'll finish, and that'll depend on a lot of things. Don't forget we can still get a lot of injuries. The fixture list can still throw us against a form team when our form is struggling.
Mm-hmm.
The referees can still influence decisions. They can book our players when they're not booking the opponents. They can still put us out of games where we would have been in it. So all those things can still affect it. But everything being equal, we have a good shout at getting top 4, which is not where we were last season or the season before. So you can't complain. We're going in the right direction, and it's good, fun football. Exciting, entertaining football. Arsenal football. We are the Arsenal. We're not some fucking Stoke lookalikes. We play like Arsenal, and that's what we're doing. It's great.
So, Ehab, you are our scout. What do you put this down to? Is it the players or tactical changes?
Oh, what I liked yesterday, and I'm gonna give credit when credit is due. Is attacking in numbers, and this is something we haven't done for a long time. We've never seen Chaka go that much forward. He was camped in the box yesterday, or at the edge of the box. He made a big difference. Saka was always in the box or the edge of the box, although he didn't get a lot of touches, which I don't hate. I don't hate at all. This is the thing is when you blend in the game plan or the game itself, you do what the team needs. You don't have to be the star. You don't have to shine, and you don't have to combine the sum of pieces to get the performance. It's not that way. What you have to do is there were defenders who were occupied with Saka all game. He didn't get the ball that much, but it opened up things for other attackers. And everybody, Zinchenko, it's a part why Chaka was allowed to go that far forward, is that Zinchenko would cover for him a lot, like we've seen Zinchenko in midfield a lot. And this is how we should do. This is how we should, be going at it the whole time, because as I said, I've always mentioned we are the Arsenal. We should know that we are the Arsenal. We're supposed to overwhelm teams every day, and this is what we've done to this team. As George said, I wouldn't have been, so disappointed if they equalized or even won the game, Leicester. But I'm not worried about the chances we allowed them. I'm not worried about the goals that we let in, because now you have this small problem that you have to work on, and it's solvable in many different ways. But you controlling the game, you're taking the game to the opposition. The PL is a tactical, uh, physical league. It's not very technical. There are star players, there are amazing players, but think about it. You have 20 teams, you have 400 players. 100 players are highly technical. The other 300 are just people who run around. It's strong players who listen to the coach and who listen to the manager and do the job, and that's it. So whenever you attack those people, they're gonna have you're gonna change the game plan. You're gonna change the role. They're gonna have trouble just getting out of it. This is what you should do.
George, your take on that? I am in the camp that tend to think that Gabriel and Zinchenko added a lot more to the team than we saw last year, and we said that in our review of their signings. And Arteta used them. I'll give him credit. I'm not his greatest fan, but he made some tactical changes that freed up Xhaka in particular and made a big difference. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, before the season started, there was some podcaster said that Zinchenko would be like number one choice because he would play at left back and he would move into midfield, and
That podcaster looks like you.
Oh yeah, it was me. That's right. Yeah. Oh, so it was. No.
Sounds like you.
Glad you recognised him. So yes, exactly what I predicted would happen happened. Releasing Xhaka. Now we're going to do the new feature again. We're going to go through the.
Oh yes. We need to have something. We need to have something to argue about.
There's a few things that I've got to say about individual players. Then,
yes,
Odegaard in particular. But I've seen on Twitter a lot of people saying, "Oh, we have to sort the right side out." The left side's much more dangerous with Zinchenko, Odegaard, and Martinelli. You think? Sorry, Zinchenko, Xhaka, and Martinelli. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's because of Zinchenko's coming. If Zinchenko was playing at the other side, the right side would be more dangerous. He's making the difference.
Yes.
It's releasing Xhaka down the left. Yes. That side at the moment with this setup is always going to be dominant over the other side.
Yes.
Because we don't have a player. Ben White is no Zinchenko. You know,
Well, we'll come to him.
he isn't moving into midfield and dominating and allowing Party, who it would be, to move forward. So that's why our left-hand side is more dominant at the moment. Zinchenko, it's as simple as that. We've brought in a better player.
Yes.
The system was adapted because his abilities are perfect for that. The role that Xhaka from time to time was asked to play last season. You remember he was asking when he played at left back, he was doing exactly the same thing. But clearly Xhaka's a midfielder and he's not as nimble on the ball. He's not as nimble with his feet as Zinchenko. So it works better with Zinchenko. That's the answer. That's why we're playing better. We're better in attack because we've brought in a better player to play the position that we were missing a suitable player to do in Jesus. It's not fucking rocket science. It's not super coaching. It's not fucking making up a new system. We've simply brought in a better player. And similarly, in defence, we look better. Saliba is better than what we've had. He is better than Ben White. He is better than Gabriel. So we look better. We've now got 4 players, in my opinion, Manchester City standard players. Right?
Yes. Correct.
So 2 of them are definitely City standard players because they played big parts in City for years.
Oh, yeah. They got like 20 games. They got like 20 games last season between the each.
And every season they played a lot. Saliba could easily play for Manchester City. You're not telling me that he's not better than Nathan Ake. He would get in that Manchester City team. And Granit Xhaka is a Manchester City standard player. Take Rodri out, put Granit Xhaka in the City team, and you've not lost anything. So with 4 players now, that top level, it's not fucking rocket science. It's buying better players and playing them. And that's all we've done. And it's worked. And that's why you have to spend a lot of money. And that's why teams like Manchester City and Liverpool, who do it consistently, year in, year out, buy another 1 or 2 top players to add to the already top squad that they have, stay at the top. Now, with the fact that we've spent more than them over the last 2 seasons doesn't really matter because they're building on a far more expensive squad than we are. And we've got to get to the point where all of our players are top level. And that's going to take a while. If it happens, we've got to hope that Martinelli and Saka and Odegaard mature and become that Manchester City level type player. And if they do, we'll have a top team within a couple of years.
We hope. And, if they keep spending on the right players, obviously, George, because if you keep spending on the wrong players, and I'm looking at Manchester United right now, right? Spending on the wrong players. Then you go to Brentford and get 4-0.
But we've done that until this point. William.
Yes.
Mari.
Yes. Runarsson. Yes. Pepe. Yes.
We've done it. Let's not laugh at Manchester United and think that we haven't done it. We've got it right this year. Even last year was nothing like. We spent the same amount of money, but it was nothing like as good a window as this year.
Well, Lokonga and Tavares cannot make this team. I mean, Lokonga is languishing on the bench. You want to say something about that, Ehab, spending on the right players? Because obviously you could spend like Manchester United and you don't break any. Let me just say this. I read in The Guardian where Jonathan Wilson is saying they must get rid of all the players, as if Manchester United can get rid of all the players and come 17th or 18th and continue to get the sponsorship. I was like, are you out of your goddamn mind? Go ahead, Ehab.
Yeah, as I said, it's what we have here is that we spend on, as George said, we spend on the right players. This is a part why I always wanted us to stick with one player, although I haven't been Arteta's fan up
You,
until now, with one manager, because
yes.
this is what happens. Look, Manchester United is not gonna get fixed because the manager is a manager who wants them to play like a cohesive unit. And this is not gonna happen because there are players, but they are the leftovers of all the managers that left since 2012. Just different systems, everybody fits a certain system, goes out and spends a lot of money. And what happens is those players are still professional players, so they are going to have good games in different systems. And like Shaw was a good player until under what's his name,
Rank,
Ole.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah. Mhm, mhm.
yeah, and then Pogba was a good player under Louis van Gaal. And you look at it, and everybody is looks like a good player, but everybody was bought to adapt to a certain system. And at the end of the day, the good players were sold or moved on, and the bad players are not the bad players. The players that don't fit anything or too expensive to be sold just stayed. They just hung around. And this guy comes in and they want him to play like a cohesive unit. They want him to play out the back, pass, 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 attack all the time, like we did, because they're Manchester United. They have to overwhelm teams too. And by attacking, and they just get exposed out the back because there's no harmony whatsoever. There's they just don't mesh together. And it's gonna take them a long time. But if you look at them, they get more position, they get more attacks, they get more they go forward a little bit more. The problem with Manchester United is, and the new manager, is that he's not gonna park the bus until everything gets better and people understand each other and they're afraid of him. So this
Well,
is
they
this
might
is the
park
good
him.
thing.
They might park him before he gets going. But
It will be stupid because we stuck with Arteta for this is the third year.
third,
and
yes, third year. Mhm.
and the thing is, I understand. I don't want to be the one that rains in everybody's parade, but there's still so much to be learned. Like for example, one day we are going to. If you looked at the game yesterday, you're gonna see how much space they allowed Gabriel Jesus when he dropped to get the ball. This is not gonna happen always.
Mhm.
You play against a manager who understands that this is what gets the team going. Hey, this is how we move the ball upfield. And then we are going to have games when once he touches the ball, he's going to get pushed or fouled or bodied and try to control him, and he doesn't have space even when he drops, and he has to drop back much further. And now you have all your players going forward and the ball is not making it there. And this is when Arteta has to adjust, and he hasn't been through it yet. There's no amount of training that will get him ready to that point where he has Granit Xhaka playing as a center forward and Gabriel Jesus dropped into midfield just to get the ball, and he gets fouled there, and the ball doesn't get out of midfield for that 10 minutes while Granit, Saka, Martinelli are waiting up top, and he's gonna try to go to Martinelli in the wing to try and beat his man 1-on-1 just to get the ball up top. This is not easy to deal with it. He has to try a bunch of things, and then he's gonna start blaming players, and he's gonna take Gabriel Jesus out of the game, like we said the other day, and he's gonna start playing Eddie more, and Saka is going to go, renegade again, get the ball and run with it, just to get the ball up the field. And this is an adjustment that has to be made, but they have to go through the downs, because if you look at the game yesterday, you're gonna think, oh my god, this is fucking unstoppable. Nobody can stop this. And the other thing that can go wrong um, is when some games, and I've seen this for 20 years under Wenger. Some games the ball just wouldn't go into the net. Whatever
Yes.
you do, it just 3 inches to the right, 4 inches to the left, a couple of inches higher, right where the keeper's standing, hits the defender on the knee and bounces out. And and we are allowing a lot of a lot of counters. And we have 20 shots, the others have 5 shots, and they score twice, and that's game. And those things will happen because it's football, and
Ehab, I don't want to
it's how we
interrupt
deal
you.
with it.
I don't,
Yeah,
but I will. I will. I think you're onto something, but most people don't want to hear that. And George,
yeah,
maybe you want to comment on that, maybe before we go to the next segment. That
I get it.
that Leicester scored, created chances. Fofana should have scored. Well, could have scored earlier, not should have, could have. And the goal, Madison's goal, I was concerned that it was because I was an easy cutback. I mean, on the it was on our left side. He was on the right. Um, that tells you, and also to add to the point that Ehab made, I mean, Gabriel Jesus had a lot of close misses. His point is making that you could be in a game where when he was going for that hat trick, came close, no cigar. Your thoughts, George, about Leicester and potential banana skins down the road?
Yeah, people don't. You've got to accept that we're not Manchester City that are able to dominate a team so conclusively that the result is basically inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
We're a team that the opposition, with a bit of luck, are going to be able to beat us. Like yesterday, if they'd have scored first, which they could have done,
yes,
it's a different game. Let's say that first goal that Jesus scored was a fucking miracle goal. I mean, what a goal that is.
Yes.
Now, 9 times out of 10, at least 9 times out of 10, he's not scoring that.
Mm-hmm.
He's not scoring that.
That's a one-time shot. That's a one-time shot, by the way, George.
Lionel Messi's not scoring it more than 1 out of 9 times.
Yeah. Let's remind people, it was a one-time shot from a Xhaka layoff. And he just balanced himself and
from a standing start, he got under the ball, chipped it over. It's a phenomenal finish, but it's a miracle finish. He didn't go out every week. Nodding it in at the back stick, that might happen. If he gets a chance like that, he'll score every week. But then again, it was a nod on by Vardy.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't like a plan. We nodded it on for him. So you've got a miracle goal and you've got an assisted goal from Leicester to put us 2 up.
Yes.
On another day, those don't happen.
Right.
They just don't go in. And it's a different game and you can lose it. They score and then Jesus misses the next 4 or 5 chances like he did.
Yes.
Afterwards.
Right.
So you can end up not scoring at all. And lose. And I've played just every bit as well as we played yesterday. This is the point that people don't get. You can play the same level of game one day and win, that the next day means you lose. You've not done anything different. It's just the game's panned out differently. And that will happen because we're not that good that we can compensate for the luck not going our way.
I didn't see the City game, George, but I saw a tweet by you that they were up like 90% possession early in the first half.
Not early in the first half. Over the entirety of the first half, 93%.
Wow. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine that? I mean, they are a comprehensive team. By the way, guys, I'd like to interrupt this broadcast with a commercial message. You have got to like and subscribe to our podcast. It is improving. It is improving, but we need you to like and subscribe to get this kind of opinion, which you don't get from anybody else. They're going to be jumping on bandwagon and don't give you any insight onto the game. Thank you very much for that commercial break. So on to part 2, my friends. The controversial section of the podcast, the new feature that we are gonna be doing hopefully for the season. And I give you guys a chance to chew at this. I'll do the goalkeeper alone, and then we'll just try to plow through each position on the field. Not each position, but positional area. Aaron Ramsdale, I gave him a 7. What are your thoughts? I didn't think he I think he made some good saves. Um, I think even that Vardy thing, he acquitted himself very well. And by the way, George, when you were talking about referees, can you believe Mike Dean waving off that penalty? George, Aaron Ramsdale, what do you thought of him?
Yeah, fair enough. 7, decent enough performance. I don't. He let one through his legs. Don't blame
Yes,
him one little bit for that.
yeah,
You know, he positioned himself right. He took up the stance that every goalkeeper takes up in that position. He just it just happened to go right in between his legs. The fucking Madison didn't aim to put it between his legs. He just
yes,
blasted it, and it
yes,
happened to go between. Which goes back to what I was saying earlier. On another day, that goes 3 inches to the left, 3 inches to the right, and Ramsdale saves it. You know,
yes.
there's no accounting for that, and I don't get that people can blame him for letting that one in, or indeed letting the one in where Saliba did the fantastic finish past him.
That was to the right of him, very much to the right.
He was, you know, not at fault for any. He made some good saves, so yeah, 7's fine.
I give him a seven.
He didn't put us in any problems with his distribution like he did last week. So yeah,
And now for the defense, and I'm guys consider all four players together. Ben White, who gets the lowest score for me for the entire game. I might be unfair to him, but somebody has to come lowest. So I highlighted him. Saliba, I gave a 6.5, and I only gave Saliba 6.5 because he miscommunicated and he put a foot wrong. That's not to say he's a bad player. That's not to say he dropped from an 8 last week to a poor player this week. But you get points taken off. Gabriel Magales, the other Gabriel, he didn't do too badly. I gave him a 7.0, and Zinchenko I thought was marvelous. I gave him an 8.0. So can you guys give me your opinion on the defenders?
Go on, you go first.
Ehab. Let's start with Ehab.
I'm never, I'm not a fan of, rating anybody by number, but for all intents and purposes. Yeah, I think Saliba deserves a little bit more. To be honest, he was phenomenal. He had Madison actually attack from his side a lot, and we didn't even see Madison until he scored the goal. And he was fooled by Vardy a couple of times, and that's why he was nervous when the goal. And this is something we talked about, that tricky attackers and attackers who use the full arsenal every day are gonna give Saliba problems. Saliba is as good as any defender I've seen in Arsenal shirt, and I've seen a lot. I've seen, you know,
Yes.
Adams, Campbell, Torre, Koscielny. He's as good as anyone when he starts, but you have to expect a dip from him, because along the way he's gonna get the reputation that he's not only a 21-year-old. He's gonna run up against some attackers who get out all the tricks out of their bag, and he's gonna face that. And there's no way to learn that. There's no way in training to learn it. I mean, you cannot simulate it. You have to live it in game time. So he was a little bit nervous, but I think he did much better than 6.5. Gabriel wasn't good. I liked him. There was a couple of times he miscommunicated with Zinchenko and Chaka, but I like him. He's done well. It's the best 2 games he's played in an Arsenal shirt. Zinchenko, as we said, he allowed Chaka to go forward. He was going forward a lot. I need to see Zinchenko in more pressured situations, to be honest, just to check on his defense, his positioning and his defense. Because in my head, KT is a better defender at the moment, but he doesn't provide us with the things that we provided with the other players. So I don't disagree. I'd give Saliba 7.5, and this
Really?
is about it. Yeah, Ben White. It's not his position. It's not his game.
Yes.
He tried to go forward a couple of times, but he added nothing to it. And on the defense, he always takes time to come back. Although he's quick, he didn't study growing up the positioning of a fullback, so it's not a second nature to him. It takes it takes a second to think about it or to look around or to have the awareness, and that's why if he did the same thing in yesterday's game and Leicester had a tricky left winger like like Mahrez or something, it would have been a massacre.
Hmm. Exactly. George, your thought about the four defenders.
Well,
And
yeah, okay.
I'll leave it to you.
Saliba, he would get an 8 from me.
Really?
Yeah, he would have got a 9 if it hadn't been for the goal that he scored. I think he's unbelievably good, ridiculously good for a 21-year-old. I've never seen a 21-year-old defender as good as him, ever. I think he's just outstanding. I really fear that if we don't get him signed up, if we don't get an extension signed, it could go anywhere. There isn't a team in the world that wouldn't want him. If we don't sign him, he'll go. He won't. If we don't sign him this year, and he's only a year left on his contract, he's gone. We're going to have to sell him, or definitely lose him on a free because he won't stay. He's too good. He's too good. He's outrageously good. So he would get an 8. Gabriel was okay. Yeah.
George, you don't discount the error?
Yeah, I would have given him a 9 if it hadn't been for the error.
Okay.
I think he's outstanding. I thought he was outstanding. Even after the error, he was cool. He got back on the bike. It was like he had never fallen off and grazed his knee at all. He's just a top player. Gabriel.
Don't you think Vardy gave him some
No, I don't. No. Vardy's an experienced. I mean, he's 34. He's still quick. He knows all the tricks. Yeah. And I don't think he made him rushed. I just think he coped with him all right. I thought he had him in his pocket. He's just sublime. Gabriel, he's okay. I've never been overexcited about him, but he's solid. Probably exactly what you want to play alongside Saliba as a partnership. I think they're very, very good. Ben White, he's not, like I say, he's not a left back.
Right back.
Or he's not a right back. And for me, he'd be like 6.5 maybe. Doesn't add much. But then again, he's not Zinchenko. It's not his best position. Zinchenko is playing in his absolute best position while we're not under pressure, as Ehab says. Let's see what he's like under pressure when his main goal is defending rather than coming into midfield and adding to the attack when he has to sit back. And I agree with Ehab 100%. In those games, I don't think he'll start. I think we'll start with
Tierney
there, and Zinchenko will probably move into midfield somehow because I think he's too good to be left out. But that would be it for me. We 8, 7.5, 6.5, and 8.
Guys, you know what I've discovered about doing this, which is the first time I've ever done it, but it just adds to the debate and gives some, rather than us saying the same old thing week after week. But player ratings are relative. And you have all these experts on other websites, football websites. And they're... Yeah.
The point with the trouble with player ratings is, and the only trouble with player ratings is, that people are not fair. They start from a position where they've already given a rating before the game kicks off. If your favourite player is Thomas Partey, he starts with an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
And then he has to do something shocking to knock him down to 7.5 because we're all biased. That's how human nature is. We have our favourites. We've decided how good they are. Like Zinchenko, in my mind, every week he'll start with an 8. And he'll have to do something either better for it to go up or worse for it to go down. But the starting point is an 8. And when you've got that fixed in your head, it's not really a fair reflection of what they've actually done on those 90 minutes because you're starting from a biased position. And we all are biased, all of us. We all have it in our minds how good a player is before the kick-off every match.
Well, George, that takes us to the midfield. Because obviously on this podcast we are not the greatest Thomas Partey fans, and we tend to be very pro Granit Xhaka. But I tried to be fair. I felt that I gave Partey a 6.5 and Xhaka 6.5. And the main reason why I gave Partey a 6.5, I thought that his passing was not the greatest. It was off. I wanted to use another adjective, but it will be perhaps too biased. Your thoughts on this, Ehab?
I don't mind the Partey passing. What I mind is and I've always people say I'm anti-Partey, but it's not that. It's um, the the um, the counters that we have conceded. Uh, Half of them would be eliminated if we had a good defensive midfielder. Uh, and this is the thing. Remove Partey and put the Nenny there, and Leicester loses half the chances. Probably won't score any of the goals. Uh, and it's just I don't know what he has to be. He has to do something, anything. It's um the thing is, we brought him to play what Xhaka is doing now, a box-to-box midfielder who would attack and pass to those people. And then he didn't do that, and we pulled him back. And now we've been hiding him in the defense for how long? Um, for
This is
a
his third
year.
year.
He been hiding in the defense for a year, so nobody can guess what the rating is. People would just, as George said, they would start with an 8. They don't see him the whole game, and then unless he scores an own goal, or, just leaves somebody wide open, he goes down to 7, 7.5, and people start thinking, oh, we need somebody to play in the midfield with Partey. We need to buy someone to play in midfield to replace Xhaka. And this is not it. He for me, I would give him 3 for last night. I'm serious. I'm not against the guy, but you put a good defensive, and I don't know how long it will take Arteta to figure this out. That if Chaka was the defensive midfielder and he buys an attacking midfielder or a box-to-box midfielder like Prime Ramsey before the injuries, like Jack Wilshere in a better way, than Jack Wilshere, an attacking midfielder like KDB.
Yes.
And Chaka is defending as a DM. He stays back like Partey was doing. We completely destroy Leicester. It would have been 6-7-0, 0, because you have those. If you look back, those counters have to stop early on, and it was so simple for them to bypass the midfield with no Chaka in it. If we lose the ball, the pass is done to the midfield, another pass down to Vardy, and now we're in defensive position. We either attacking or defending in our own area. There's nothing in the middle because Chaka is out of the midfield. He's not standing in the midfield circle, and somehow they're gonna figure it out down the line that we're gonna need a DM. What baffles me is they used to say this about Arsene Wenger all the time, because Arsene Wenger used to attack regardless if he's gonna be attacked.
Mhm.
He's gonna go to Manchester City and attack. He's gonna go to Liverpool and attack. It doesn't matter. But the thing is, they always gonna say, "Oh, we need a proper DM. We need a proper defensive midfielder." Just none of the players. Arteta is not a defensive midfielder. This is what we would hear. And now we are starting party, and we playing with the same mentality as when Arsene Wenger was here, and we are getting countered, and you don't hear that. And this
Well,
is this is my problem with party. Chaka, he had a bad 12 minutes where he lost the ball a couple of times, where he was out of position for a couple of times. He's still old habits. He was still in our half, just trying to get the attack started. He was trying to defend, but it took him 12, 13 minutes, and he was playing as good as any attacking midfielder, like a box to box or attacking midfielder. After that, 8.5 is fair. The other guys, we will get to them, especially Odegaard and Saka.
do you
But
concur, George? I- and why? Perhaps you want to comment as to why um, Arteta doesn't recognize the weaknesses of Party.
Well, maybe he does. How do we know he doesn't? He prefers him to El Neni, and but it's funny because I watched Party yesterday. He got caught on the ball, and he did a pirouette
Yes,
and came away with the ball, and the crowd cheered.
I remember that. And I was
And
like,
then he passed the ball straight to a Leicester player.
right.
You know, so even when he does something good, he fucking puts a full stop on the end halfway through the sentence. I don't think he had a good game at all. But then again, he has some stuff on his mind, doesn't he? That would make anybody's job a bit difficult.
yeah, that's the thing, man. They can't stop. They can't say anything bad about Party. It's like white guilt. You cannot say anything about bad about Party. But in any other team, a player with rape allegations and who's been performing as badly as, I mean, I would understand Arteta's point of view a little bit if this was like Patrick Vieira, and he's gonna shrug off the rape allegations and play him every weekend because we cannot win without him. But the thing is, we put our head in the sand and we keep saying he's a great player. And before the season, I've read threads that would make your mind just explode. It was, oh, I believe he's the best DM in the league, and but he's not. We didn't buy him to be a DM, and
I saw one last week that said we shouldn't compare Partey to Rodri because Partey's world class and Rodri's shit.
yeah,
Fucking Jesus. This is a level of fucking understanding that you have to put up with on Twitter. It's beyond the joke. I mean, it's a fucking plague of stupidity that far exceeds COVID-19 and its gravity.
we talk about Arteta because I just can't understand how something that's done wrong can be spoken about with such praise. This was my problem with Arteta, but now at least after 2 or 3 years of saying we need to realize we are the Arsenal, we need to overwhelm teams, we need to attack with more players. He switched to 4-3-3 with Partey at the DM and Odegaard and Xhaka up top, as CMs that move forward. And we always wanted this. I mean, I don't mind if we go into Manchester City attacking with the same mentality. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? We defended and lost 5-0 and 4-0 and 6-0 and whatever. But this is you just go with the attacking mentality and something good's gonna happen. But then this is why we talked about Arteta the whole time, and this is why I talk about Partey. I mean, it's like it's like praising Putin to be a humanitarian, and you just can see everything. It's not like okay, you don't have an opinion about him, but it's just you have the opposite opinion and you're defending it and you're dying on that hill, and you just concealing the truth. And just throw in a Nenny or somebody and see the difference. See how much
Well,
difference this creates.
but you
That's
don't get trying to get a balanced opinion on Twitter is it's like seeking snow in what in the Sahara or something. It's just
yeah.
guys. What about the midfield? The Bukayo Saka nominal midfield, Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Martinelli. They're two white players and a dedicated central midfield. I gave Martinelli an 8 because I thought he was very aggressive. He
I
took
don't think he's a
Fofana out of the
midfielder.
game. Go ahead, George. Your thoughts?
I don't think he's a midfielder. I think you know, let's exclude him. The other midfielder we need to talk about.
Okay. Let's put him as a. He played as a 11.
He's an attacker, isn't he? And so
Yeah.
is Saka, and so is Jesus. Well, like Ehab said, we're playing 4-3-3 now. That's obvious. The 4-2-3-1's gone. So,
Yeah.
as I see it, anyway. But Martin Odegaard,
Yes.
he's getting a lot of criticism for his last couple of performances, saying he does nothing. And I'm going to defend him here. That it's not by accident that Granit Xhaka was found in the box and he got an assist and scored a goal this week. He's been told to do that.
Yes.
Right?
From the very beginning, George. From the very beginning of the game.
But whereas before the game, that's the tactics. He'll have been told that's they'll have trained that for weeks, and this is how he's going to play, and he's doing it. But a lot of people are assuming that because Odegaard isn't in the box, isn't trying to create in the traditional number 10 way, that he's not having a good game. Well, I think, why not assume the same as we're doing with Xhaka? He's doing what he's been told to fucking do. Mm-hmm. If he's been told, we want to control midfield, your job is to keep the ball, play it safe, build the play up, don't take chances, don't risk, don't be making runs into the box because I want you in midfield, I want to control that midfield area. He's doing what he's not suddenly decided to stop making runs into the box. Mm-hmm. He's not suddenly decided to stop taking risks and playing through balls or playing chips over the top or whatever it was that he was doing last season. He's not suddenly decided that. He's been told what to do.
Yes.
And if we're going to criticize him for doing what he's been told to do, I don't think that's fair. I don't think he had a bad game. He had a bad game if you want to compare him to Mesut Ozil at his peak as a number 10. Well, that's not what he's being asked to do. And I think he's doing what he's been asked to do. Just like Xhaka, when he plays at fucking left back, for Christ's sake. What the fuck's he doing at left back? But he's doing what he's told. He hasn't decided to play at left back off his own bat, has he? When he was playing as a hybrid left back, left centre mid, left fucking central defender for half a season, he didn't decide to do that on his own. He was doing what he was asked to do. So if there's a criticism, and I'm not making it, by the way, of Odegaard, it shouldn't be why is he not imposing himself? It's why is he not being asked to impose himself? Because I think he has all the ability to do a different job to what he's being asked to do. And again, I'm not being critical. I'm not saying Arteta should be, because you watch the games, these last 2 games, and when we've been playing well, we're playing well with Odegaard doing what he's asked to do. He's a tidy player. He didn't do anything wrong yesterday. He didn't give the ball away cheaply. He wasn't fucking tripping up over the fucking ball. He wasn't kicking it into touch like Partey does. Give the lad some fucking lead. Last season, he was outstanding. This season, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, he's being asked to perform a different function for the team.
Good point, George.
I'm not criticizing him for doing that function to the best of his ability, because it might not quite suit his skill set, but he's doing it. Just like it doesn't suit Xhaka's skill set sometimes to do what he's asked to do. But when they do it, you shouldn't criticise them for it. They're doing what they're asked to do to the best of their ability, and probably better than anyone else in the squad could do it. So, shut up. Martin Odegaard, 7 out of 10, fair enough.
Do you concur, Ehab? Quickly.
I want to add something to that. Is that a lot of our ball advancing just depends on Jesus just dropping and getting the ball, and Jesus seems to favor the left side, which has Zinchenko, who he has played with before, and who has Martinelli, who maybe speaking the same language and being Brazilians, they do communicate better, and having Chaka on that side makes it a little bit more dominant. It's been the same for the next 2 games, actually in preseason too. But on the right side, I would like to see him go to that side better, because this is what happens if he goes to the right side. The thing mirrors itself. Chaka gets the role of Odegaard by staying put and try to control the midfield while Odegaard goes into the box. We're going to see this a little bit more if he goes to the right and the ball advances to the right. But we rely on Saka a lot nowadays.
That's fine, and I agree. But the point I was making is Zinchenko is on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So Odegaard hasn't got him on his side to look as good. It's not his fault. That's the fucking reality of it. He's having to cope with Ben White behind him. And Party is feeding him.
Right.
That's the
Party's
problem.
on the right sided.
So I agree with you.
Ben White mostly.
But you can't say he should do more, because his side is weaker. Not because he's weaker, because his side is weaker.
Yep, I do agree with that. I'd like to see us try to make that side a little bit stronger, and not to just limit it to like just individual adventures by Saka. I'd like to see more done on that side, to be honest. It's up
Guys,
to them.
I love this debate, and because it gives you it has you thinking. And for example, what you did for me is everybody conventionally is saying, and I went to most of the websites saying we're playing 4-2-3-1, and I'm beginning to agree with you that we played more like a 4-3-3, and the front three was Gabriel Martinelli on the right hand side. No, he was on the left hand side.
Shotta, as well as that, don't forget Zinchenko's moving into midfield.
Correct.
Which gives us an extra man in midfield, which makes playing the midfield 4-3-3. We can still play 3 in the middle when Xhaka's gone.
Yeah.
Yes. But look at the front.
Odegaard isn't going.
Yeah.
Odegaard's not doing that as much as Xhaka. Not because he doesn't want to or can't, because he hasn't got Zinchenko behind him, and he doesn't have the opportunity to do it.
May I just try to wrap this up, because we're fast approaching my limit on this. I think we're all agreed that Gabriel Jesus was absolutely tops.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. But can we have some comments on Saka and Martinelli? I gave them a 7 and an 8 respectively. I understand that Saka did not get to see a lot of the ball like Martinelli did. But can we have some comments? Ehab, starting with you.
Yeah, it's totally fine. It's totally good. Saka didn't try to do a lot by himself, and this is something I really like, because once he blends into the game, there are gonna be games where you don't see him much, but he's gonna come out and give you a couple of moments of brilliance that's gonna add to the sum of the team. And Martinelli, I just love him. He's just another Alexis Sanchez.
Don't say that. Don't call that name with George present.
Without losing position 68 times a game. Yes. But he's got the speed, he's got the skill, in tight positions. Him and Jesus are the reason, and Chaka are the reason we advance the ball that easily without being pressured. They're the reason we have more options. He's combining with Jesus. I would like to see him combine more with the rest of the players. But it will get there. This is a great team. It's been a great team for a couple of years, and I like the individual talent of every one of these players.
George, before you comment, I thought that they had a front three to which with the support of Zinchenko and Xhaka was for the first time I saw us being fast and attacking. I call it fast and furious. We really gave Leicester fits. Your thoughts on those two young fellas together with, if you want to add Jesus in the mix, no problem.
Yeah, Jesus was brilliant. He missed a few chances, like all good strikers do. They make chances and they miss chances. He had probably 2 out of 6 that he scored, which is 33% return. That's really good for a striker. So no complaints there. Martinelli was outstanding.
Yes.
Xhaka wasn't. But I think if you'd have switched them over, if you'd have put Xhaka on the left-hand side and Martinelli on the right, we'd have been switching the scores as well. Xhaka would have been 8 and Martinelli would have been 7 because he had the opportunity to be outstanding. Saka didn't have the opportunity. And again, I'm not going to criticise Xhaka. I'm not going to criticise him for not having the opportunity because of the way the team's set up. And I'm not criticising Arteta for setting the team up the way he did because I think that's the best he could have set it up yesterday. Maybe Tomasako instead of Ben White from the beginning would have been the only change that I would have said would have added to the team. But if he's not fit enough, or maybe he just thinks that he paid 55 million for Ben White and he's got to justify that and play him. Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a great performance, and the 3 front lads did fine by me. 2 of them were outstanding, and one of them didn't get the chance to be outstanding, and perhaps he would have been if he'd have been given a chance. So all good from me. The whole thing was good. I really enjoyed it. It's like watching Arsenal again. Fantastic.
Thank you, George. I have thrown in the substitutes as and gave them a default rating of 6.5. I didn't think they did put a foot wrong, but I didn't think they did really a lot. I hope you guys agree with me, but we've been nattered on for quite a while. Long may this continue. I want to remark on my good friend Shard Guna. In his preview said we should win this game. I am responsible for the headline. I said support their forward with the Arsenal or something like that. Screw the management. I think the management did a good job setting up the team. So long may this continue. Thank you, guys. Until we do this again next game, I think this was a very, very good discussion. Hopefully, the fans who listen to us faithfully agree with us. Ehab, bye. George,
bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And this will, hopefully, we will have more games like this.
Hope so.
All right.
May God go with you, as Dave Allen would say.
Okay, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.